Twilight sighed as she entered her humble abode, scarcely able to lift her weary hooves. "Spike!" she called out, checking if the dragon was home. There was no reply. Owlicious didn't seem to be on his perch either. "Oh, that's right," she said to herself. "They'd gone with Sakura, hadn't they? It must have slipped her mind that their trip was scheduled for that day." To be honest, she was relieved to be alone. She didn't particularly want to be seen like this, and she didn't think she could keep her feelings bottled up inside any longer. She barely took a few steps inside before giving up and grumpily slumping to the ground. The funk had been with her all morning, and it showed no signs of lifting. It was as if there was a shadow hovering over her, leaving her devoid of colour and vibrancy. She couldn't shake it off, no matter how hard she tried. What was worse was that she knew the source. She knew why she felt like this, and what would cure her blues. That just made her broody mood feel all the more immature and childish. It was her own fault she couldn't act on it, her own failings that had her feeling this way. So why was she taking it out on the rest of the world? Oh, right. Pettiness. Who would have thought, she muttered to herself, that the noble name of Twilight would ever be associated with melodramatically moping around all because of some pony you have a crush on? She sighed, pouting as she rested her head on her hooves, ashamed of herself for being such an adolescent about this. "Look out below!" Twilight didn't even flinch as a cyan streak crashed through a window, landed muzzle first on the floor, and careened into a bookcase, causing its contents to spray everywhere upon impact. "Hi, Rainbow," Twilight deadpanned. "Hi, Twilight," Rainbow Dash cheerily replied, poking her head up from under the pile of books. One of them splayed open on her head. Twilight didn't even bother to ask for an explanation. This was a common enough occurrence that it was practically on schedule. "Hey, you can get up now," Rainbow Dash said as she trotted over to her prone friend. The unicorn gave no response. "Why are you still ducking like that?" "I'm not ducking," Twilight Sparkle mumbled, not moving from her spot. "Okay," Rainbow Dash eyed her strangely. "What are you doing then?" "Oh, a guessing game," Pinkie Pie enthused, abruptly leaping up out of Twilight's waste paper basket without so much of a word of warning or explanation. "Ah!" "Oh, it's you," Twilight cut herself off mid-squeal, her initial response immediately fading once she realized it was just Pinkie. "Hi, Pinkie," she forced herself to smile, on some level grateful for the presence of her friends, but still wishing to be left alone. "Can I play the guessing game?" Pinkie asked, bouncing up and down with glee. "Yeah, go ahead, knock yourselves out, I don't mind," Twilight said, sullenly dragging her hooves over to the stairs, heading to the bed where she could sulk some more in peace. Okay, let's see. Was she looking for a contact lens, or digging for treasure, or pretending to be a dog?" Pinkie wondered aloud, eager to find out. "Am I right? Is that the answer? Is there a prize if I get the answer? What's the prize? Is it something you eat?" Rainbow Dash wasn't listening, more focused on bigger concerns. Sure, Twilight could be a grump, but she'd never been this much of a bummer before. "Huh?" she hummed to herself, cocking her head slightly, confused by her friend's odd behaviour. "Hey, Pinkie, what's wrong with Twilight?" she asked, wondering if she'd missed some big event while practicing her tricks earlier that morning. "Huh?" Pinkie stopped mid-hop, turning to cast a glance at Twilight's retreating form. "I don't know. Now that you mention it, she seems pretty down," she agreed, rubbing her chin in contemplation, curious as to what could have caused this unwarranted downturn in her mood. "Maybe we should cheer her up then," Rainbow commented, with an idle shrug. Pinkie looked at her expectantly, apparently not catching on that it had been a prompt for her to be her near-perpetually cheery self and spout an assortment of suggestions, most likely in song. Pinkie cleared her throat. "You got any ideas?" She tried again, less subtly. Pinkie gasped as it came to her. "Does she like butter tarts?" She all but buzzed with excitement, an apparently ingenious solution to Twilight's problems, already forming in her eccentric mind. Rainbow Dash blinked, side-eyeing her pink companion. "Do you have any ideas that make sense?" "Oh," Pinkie laughed, tapping a hoof to her head. "No, none whatsoever." Rainbow sighed. "Fine, I guess it's up to me then," she sighed, following Twilight upstairs, figuring she had to handle this the old-fashioned way, by talking. When she reached the second floor, she saw Twilight curled up on her bed, facing the wall, practically huddled right in the corner. Rainbow suppressed an awkward groan. She really wasn't the right pony for this. She'd never been much good at any of that, what's the word? Sensitive stuff. But then again, there was a first time for everything. She swallowed. Hey, she began, sporting a very unconvincing grin. Twilight didn't respond. Hey, buddy! Rainbow tried again, uncertainly, moving a little closer. What you doing there? Twilight lifted a blanket with her magic and draped it over herself, signalling that she was very definitely ignoring her and planned on sustaining this course of action. Rainbow's ears went lopsided, a confused look coming over her. So, do you want to talk about it, or you don't? She asked, unsure what she was supposed to be reading from her body language. Yes, no, I don't know. Twilight sighed, flopping back on her bed. It wasn't fair of her to act like this. Just because she was miserable was no excuse to treat her friends like manure, especially when they were only trying to help her feel better. It's complicated, she explained, sitting up more properly, though her head still hung low, as if she couldn't summon the will to lift it to its regular height. Try me, Rainbow challenged with a friendly smirk. Twilight averted her eyes, her inner turmoil written plainly on her face. Her inside squirmed as she sat there, locked in a battle between the urge to keep her secret locked away forever and the desire to let it out and seek the help she knew she needed. I'm in love, she admitted, the words sinking like a stone in the silence of the room. In love? Pinky exclaimed, leaping high enough in the air that she nearly hit the ceiling. That's not bad news. That's wonderful. That's incredible, she chirped, dancing her way up to the second floor. Yeah, Rainbow agreed, preparing to congratulate her friend, until a secondary doubt struck her. Isn't it? It would be, if I didn't keep making a fool out of myself every time we're together, Twilight lamented, picking up a pillow and holding it over her head, as if hoping that she and all her shame would disappear if she hid there long enough. Oh, don't worry about it, Sparky. Love makes fowls of us all, Pinky encouraged, throwing a friendly hoof over her shoulder in a perpetually positive way. Twilight's response was muffled by the pillow, coming out as little more than a strained mewl. It was like a curse to think of all the time she'd spent poring over her books, studying tomes of ancient knowledge, sharpening her mind to a fine instrument of wit, only for her to turn into a tongue-tied dolt the one time it really counted to keep her senses about her. Ugh! She could have dropped dead from embarrassment 5.5 times over just thinking about it. So go on, don't leave us hanging. Who's the lucky pony? Asked Rainbow, taking the pillow between her teeth and throwing it aside, leaving her paws nervously shrinking under her friend's eager stares. This was going to be one hey of a revelation for them. The bell above Carousel Boutique's door twinkled as a pink mane peeked timidly inside. Hello? Fluttershy weakly called out, seeing the main floor was uncharacteristically empty. Rarity? She tried again, stepping a little further inside, letting the door swing shut behind her. The sound made her jump. It wasn't her imagination. The shop really did seem to be deserted. Oh no, she hoped she hadn't missed her. Of all the times for Rarity to be out, why today? Not today. Please. Fluttershy didn't think she could bear it any longer, being stuck the way she was. She needed a friend. Badly. Thankfully, she heard the upstairs door swing open a little, and then a moment later, Hang on, I'll be right. Oh, Fluttershy, it's you. Come right up, darling. Rarity greeted her, beaming brightly and gesturing for the Pegasus to join her. Fluttershy didn't hesitate to sigh with relief, never more glad to see her best friend. Really, there's no need for you to wait for an invitation to come upstairs. You're practically family. Thank you. Fluttershy blushed, her mane falling in front of her eyes as it so often did, concealing the expression. So, to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Asked Rarity, waiting at the top of the stairs for her notoriously reserved companion to reach her. Fluttershy wasn't in any hurry to make the climb, if her pace was any indication. Well, it's, I hope it's not a bad time, but it's, you see, I just